Madam Pentillion, you asked for clarity. Let me offer it, with as much of it as Dragos allows these days. I remain publicly neutral in the civil fracture tearing this planet in half. My capital, Reptilia, still rises untouched. But the eastern reach lies in Queen Suresha's grip, and I no longer pretend her movement is anything but a gilded rebellion. She calls it a spiritual reawakening. I call it what it is, a militant regime cloaked in ceremony, powered by dangerous technologies and a disturbingly persuasive theology. But beneath my neutrality, preparations are underway. You will receive a silent detachment of my Pentillion Reptilian hybrid elite, warriors crafted for shadows, bred for silence. Their movements will be masked by old imperial corridors no longer mapped. They owe no allegiance to Suresha and will strike with precision if called. Now, as to your real question, yes, I know of the U.S. Air Force movement near the Dragos stratosphere. Your Star Car fighters are aligning at the Dark Mirror's edge. If this is a strike plan, say so. I'll ensure that reptilian air corridors remain clear. Just know this, Queen Suresha's palace is more than architecture. It's embedded in ancient volcanic ridgelines laced with particle scatter fields. And she possesses something far worse than shields. She has molecular disruptor weapons, the same weapon she used to destroy Air Force One mid-air. Without wreckage, without evidence. What the public doesn't know is that the passengers weren't killed. They were abducted, stored in stasis on the moon. President Arthur Wilson, his staff, his cabinet, all suspended like memories in crystal. She calls it mercy. I call it collecting trophies. So yes, a surprise attack is essential. Strike before she invokes whatever dreadful poetry she's been saving for our funeral rites. Which brings me to an even stranger solution, one I did not expect to accept, but now find myself quietly hoping will succeed. Father Scott Hogan, yes, the priest, the one from Earth, assigned to a cathedral on the Milky Way galaxy's edge, near Galaxy City, so remote he probably considered himself forgotten. But someone remembered him, your people. NSA Director Sharon Questar and CIA Director Niles Milan brought him through a dark mirror into my citadel under heavy guard. Not as a threat, not as a hostage, as a volunteer. He stood before me, a young man, steady-eyed and striking beyond description, and said, with no theatrics, that he was ready to give his life to stop Queen Suresha from taking Earth. He said he had nothing left to prove to this galaxy, except that it still deserved to be free. Naturally, I questioned his motives, and I was told he passed every test: neuroprobes, psychological analysis, truth scans used for deep agency recruitment. He emerged calm, loyal, centered, and unlike anything I expected. He didn't speak of revenge. He spoke of peace. Your people intend to present him as a peace offering, a gift from my Empress and I to Queen Suresha. She will be told he was programmed by CIA neurospecialist Dr. Alexandria Rabinovich to obey her will, that he is meant to replace Vorak, her former companion and commander. And she will believe it. She'll believe it because it's what she's always wanted, a new Vorak sculpted to her taste, obedient to her vision. That name, Vorak, is not a title to her. It is a fixation. And Father Hogan, for reasons I cannot fully understand, fits the mold so perfectly it chills me. He will be delivered to her during a public ceremony, a grand ornamental affair inside her ceremonial palace. The event is to mark his elevation to eternal service. In her eyes, it is a ritual of transformation. In ours, it is a calculated moment of disruption. He will be wearing a nanofilament vest, one containing a precisely calibrated version of the same molecular disruptor she used on Air Force One. But this vest, designed by your scientists, has no external signature, no detectable mass. It is fused with his body, invisible even to her sensors. The plan is simple in form, impossible in timing. She will rename him Vorak, drape him in ceremonial garb, and place her hand upon his chest in front of her believers. That is when he will act. But here's the wrinkle, a political one. Queen Suresha has demanded that President Abigail Tubman be in attendance. She calls it a diplomatic gesture, but we both know it's leverage. The Queen believes a live audience, especially one with Earth's most powerful leader, will legitimize her twisted kingdom. You must act swiftly. A dark mirror evacuation path must be prepared. The Secret Service must be within arm's reach of that mirror. President Tubman, Arlen Conway, and every attending diplomat must vanish before the vest is activated. No hesitation, no discussion, no delays. Father Hogan understands the stakes. He is not reckless. He is deliberate. He told me something I've never forgotten. I have made choices I regret. I don't need redemption. I just want to leave something behind that mattered. He believes this mission is his chance to leave behind peace, not as an act of desperation, but of clarity. He also told me something strange, something he only confided to me when no one else was listening. He said an angel came to him in the quiet of his quarters. She called herself Seraphina. He said she told him that if he went through with this, if he gave everything to stop evil from spreading, he would awaken on a planet called Paradiso, a place outside this universe. A home not of reward, but of rest. Now, I'm not a believer in bedtime angels, and I asked Rabinovich if this was some implanted memory to keep him focused. She denied it, emphatically. So I find myself wondering, who is he really? And is it faith that fuels him, or something else? Even my Empress Maya, cold steel and sapphire, was momentarily unsettled by him. She watched him walk across the courtyard, silent in thought, and later told me, with a smirk, maybe we've finally found someone she'll be too distracted by to think about you. And that's when it struck me. This isn't just about strength. It's about focus. Suresha is driven by obsession, by hunger, by the ache to possess what she cannot fully command. She'll pull him in close. She'll lower her guard, and that is when he will end this. Madam Pentillion, do not let this moment slip. Coordinate with your allies. Ready the mirror. Secure the timing. The window will be small, and the consequences irreversible. Father Hogan is not seeking glory. He's not reckless. He's ready, and that readiness may be the very thing that finally brings peace to this corner of the galaxy. You asked where I stand. I stand behind him, behind the plan, behind the last hope that Dragos does not fall into fire, and Earth does not fall into silence. And if he truly believes there is a place beyond this war, a paradiso, then let his path lead him there. But first, let him light the way.